Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
So the Timberwolves blow up the whole roster.
Everybody left. Nobody
Everybody's
knows
gone except two guys.
Yeah.
They bring in all these new guys, one of whom's highly touted, D'Angelo Russell, doesn't even play.
He doesn't play.
He got
takes
the
night off.
quad problem.
Yes.
And they score 81 points in the first half. You don't need a coach.
It makes no sense. They
Nothing
made 26.
makes sense.
What were they? Only a couple from the all-time NBA record for threes. It's just a bunch of guys off the street throwing it in from all over. It had to be unbelievable. And I'm glad that we clarified what we were talking about today when we started, because last week we had that issue that
I want to know about the trade, and Pat gave me 10 minutes on the Timberwolves. I meant the Twins.
It's like Bob Davis. Are we talking about golf or tennis?
Golf? No, that's what I was saying. I was talking about the Ryder Cup for 8 minutes, and he said, "That's soccer, right?" Oh, God, I miss him. What happened to that little weenie?
He's running the Bob Davis podcast. He renovated an ambulance, and he goes across the country. He sleeps in it. He does that hammock thing.
I believe it. You can't tell me anything that's going to surprise me.
You can follow him on Instagram, and it is hilarious what he gets himself into. The thing breaks down all the time. It's in the garage. It's just a mess, but he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right, though. I saw that score, Joe, down here, and I was a little astounded. I looked to see how bad they got their ass kicked by the Clippers, and was that their all-time high scoring point total, 142?
I believe so.
Yeah, I can't remember it. They've given up that many on several occasions.
Pat, our guy Mike Weber, he does some engineering work for the Timberwolves on the weekends and whatnot, and he said it's the first time in 5 years that he had to wait for the crowd to leave. That's how big of a crowd they had. That was non-opening night, he said.
But they all showed up to see D'Angelo, who didn't play.
No, he sat on a bench.
Here, I've used this, but here's my theory on D'Angelo, how he got hurt.
Yeah.
He went into the tattoo artist, and they were manipulating him to find a place to put his new Timberwolves tattoo, and he pulled something when he was doing it.
He's got a lot of ink, man.
Man, he's got ink on those arms. There's not much room there. It would be a battle to come up with some room. Now, I hope this isn't in dedication to somebody in his life who perished or something, because that's when you make fun of tattoos, you occasionally have to make sure we're not honoring somebody who's no longer around.
I think Karl Anthony Towns is distinguished by not having any.
Yeah, does he not have any visible ones at all?
I don't know. Well, I've never seen one on his, when he's playing. So
maybe he has them in his swimsuit area.
Could be. Yeah, could be.
Well,
because D'Angelo was tattoo free when he was at Ohio State, wasn't he?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Is he a player?
Well, he's a good offensive player. He'll throw it up from anywhere, and he's a loose cannon, that's for sure. Now, they say he doesn't guard anybody, but one reason he's not guarding anybody this year is he was the only guy on the team. He was a little better in the past. His defensive metrics, Joe, were not as horrible in the past as they have been this year. Mm-hmm. So, but Golden State, he was, just getting to shoot all he wanted to, and Golden State's trying to lose anyway until next year.
How did he and Towns become such buddies?
I don't know. He played at Ohio State, but I think they grew up near each other in Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Where's Towns from? Reavers.
Oh, I'd have to look
somewhere in Kentucky.
I think it's New Jersey.
Okay,
let me
they must have grown up there then. He must. I can't remember. I can't even remember where he grew up. So
hell of a piece in your paper yesterday. I don't remember who wrote it.
Pam Loigi, who's a really good reporter.
Mark Pavlich.
Edison, New Jersey. Edison, New Jersey.
All right. Well, Well, D'Angelo must have grown up right there somewhere near him then, because that's one of them went to Kentucky and the other went to Ohio State, and then their other running mate, is the great young player at Phoenix, Devin Booker, who played at Kentucky with Towns. So I think that's the dream, to try to get all three of those guys back together. Yes, Pam's piece was outstanding on Pavlich. Sad situation. Always a little strange, Joe. I know you dealt with him some. Never loquacious, that's for sure. I've told the story this is 1992, where I had arranged to go up to Lutsen and see him and interview him and write a piece. And I was somewhere on the range that the previous night doing something, and he called me that night and said, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I never got to write that column on him. And a lot of it, as she pointed out in there, a lot of his trauma, I think, is based on the fact that the deer hunting accident, that he was out deer hunting and took a shot that ricocheted and killed a 15-year-old friend of his. And I had always heard the story that really haunted him for life, and obviously it's gotten worse. My favorite Pavlich, though, used to be how the Rangers guys would tell you that he was playing for the Rangers, and Ron Duguay was the big star, and he was either married or dating Carol Alt. Were they married? I think they were married.
I think they were dating.
The supermodel.
Yeah.
And they would come out of the players' entrance in matching mink coats.
Right. Duguay and Carol.
Duguay and Carol Alt.
Herbie told the story.
And as this was happening, Pavlich would sneak out in his Evelyn Letterman's jacket, which had deer blood on it.
Right.
And he'd sneak out, have his hat down over his eyes, and he figured while the Duguay Carol Alt buzz was going on, he could get out of there without having any fan ask him for autographs or talk to him or anything.
Here's what I want to know. His friends and his family believe that he's behaving poorly because of head injuries he suffered. CTE. Can't you X-ray for that when you're alive?
No. The only way they find out is
never mind.
That's it would be difficult at this point to prove the case. Sometime they might be able to, but I think
which is why guys like Matt Burke are donating their brains.
That's why all the football players, donate their brains.
In fact, not to get even more morbid, but Dave Duerson, you remember him, the great Chicago Bears safety. That's why when he took his own life, he shot himself in the chest.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And he wrote that in his note so that they could examine his brain.
Man, what a shame.
Yeah, but I mean, they think that, but nobody's sure of it. But he's always been a little strange.
But I don't think he would have had more or less concussions than anybody else. I mean,
he was a tough little guy. Tough, not that little, but he was a tough guy. But I don't think he was getting hit in the head that often. I don't know. Hockey, though, is the second biggest concussion game to football. I would have to think. They're. But he was a great player. He was one of Herbie's favorite players on that team, wasn't he? Herbie loved him.
Nobody in the NHL wanted him. It was Herbie who gave him the shot.
Yeah.
He was too little at 5'8".
He was a great defensive player, though. Mm-hmm. Wow. He was something. He was I talked to his mom a couple of times. Great character, really outgoing, and loved him dearly, but she somehow he ended up being this reticent guy, and certainly didn't come from Mom, from what I could tell. 40th reunion, though, you got to relive some of that over the top.
I don't think it was over the top.
Over the top.
Hot goalie.
Mere urchins won that beat the godless commies.
That's right. That's right. All that America hoped for in its young people. Yeah, whatever I said.
Well, they wanted me to write a little something, and I said, I don't think I can. I didn't cover it, but I could write 10 or 12 inches about how I made fun of it, and people wanted to drag me through the streets. They were so upset. I remember one of my lines was, you remember that everybody had cowboy hats in, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't the official Olympic uniform that year cowboy hats?
I believe so.
Yeah. And Lukenbach, Texas was huge, and I couldn't get away with it now, but I made some joke about everybody crying at the national anthem, and I had in there, just think how emotional it would have been if it had been Lukenbach, Texas they were playing. And some people didn't like that, but 4 years later, when they lost the opener to Norway, I called up the Norwegian consulate and got him to spell out, "Do you believe in miracles?" for me in Norwegian.
Yeah.
And then I led the column with that. And
how was that received?
By accident, I ran into Herbie that night at a North Star game, and he addressed my failings rather profanely.
Well, he was very good at that.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
Very good at that.
He's the one guy though. When he swore at you, you almost felt good. You know, it was almost like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You know,
white cowboy hats were the 1980 look. It was a rugged look.
Yeah. The Wild were playing well until last night, and even then they had a hell of a game against. I think Colorado could very easily be a Cup finalist.
3-2, yeah. They had. So how much of this homestand remains? Is the 11 out of 12 over with, or are they still at home mostly?
No, you got.
I know they had 11 out of 12 at home.
You got Vegas tomorrow night.
Okay.
You got the Ranger Thursday night.
Rangers aren't very good.
You got San Jose Saturday.
This
week they're home all week.
So if you win the next game, if you beat Vegas, you got a chance for another 3-game winning streak here, and you'll be 8th place by then, right?
Yep.
So yeah, they're playing out this Fiala. You know, once again proving Paul Fenton's brilliance. He traded Fiala for that, or Fiala or whatever it is. He got him for that stiff Granlund, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think we give Paul Fenton enough credit.
What's your name for the team? Fenton's
Fighters.
That's right.
Fenton's Fighters.
Fenton's Poly Fighters.
Yeah, well, they made him get rid of Niederreiter, so he got what he could get for him. But the other, Charlie Coyle had Donato. I mean, Charlie Coyle's better than Donato, but those trades aren't the disasters that everybody makes them out to be.
Coyle's having a decent year for Boston.
Yeah, he played really good in the playoffs, but I don't know if he still takes those 3 weeks off like he used to or not.
What's life like in the fort today? In the 80s?
It's going to be a week of. I just looked at the temps. It's going to be a week of the 80s. Yeah, 82 or 3 up to high 80s. But here's the deal.
Yeah.
We still have not. We'll be honest here. It's 10 minutes to 3 in the East right now.
Right. Okay.
We still have not gotten official word that the trade has been approved.
The Twins trade.
The Brusdar trade has still not been approved. We have no idea why. Everybody signed off on it last night. Now, maybe the Major League Baseball doesn't like how much money's changing hands because they complain about that. And somehow the Twins sneaked in to get $10 million from the Red Sox. I mean, from the
Dodgers.
From the Dodgers on this deal, although it's Red Sox money because the Red Sox are supposed to be sending $47 million to the Dodgers to get rid of David Price. But nothing happening now today. If it blows up again, Scott Boras is going to have an aneurysm, man, because he's Gratterall's agent, and he's upset. But I've been getting emails all day ripping the Twins that the Dodgers that the Red Sox did better in the trade than the Twins did. Well, they gave up Mookie Betts. The Twins are giving up Brusdar, Gratterall. I'd say they should get better compensation, although I don't think they did that well.
Does Gratterall have a host of surgeries that the Red Sox are looking at?
No, well, he had Tommy John, but when he was a kid, his first 4 games he pitched in professional baseball. On his 5th game, he blew out he had Tommy John, so he missed the rest of that season and missed the next season. But he came back throwing 100 or a little more once in a while. And then he had shoulder soreness for a couple of months last season. And they shut him down. He came back in August, and they felt good enough about him to bring him up to the big leagues. So apparently the Dodgers looked at the same medicals that the Red Sox did. I think the Red Sox were getting killed so bad for the trade that they tried to figure out a way to get out of it.
I'm confused why Pineda has suspension games this year. Didn't he do that last year?
Yeah, but it was a 60-game suspension. He only missed the last 23.
Oh.
So he's got 37 carried over. I haven't seen that fella yet. See if he's still the biggest baseball player.
Well, it's hard to miss him if you do.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out Wednesday. Tomorrow's reporting date, and that used to be a big thing with guys bringing their equipment bag in Everybody's shaking hands. Now all they got to do is text to say they're in town.
Yeah.
So now they got most of them are over here already at the minor league park. They've had 70, 80 guys hanging around from minor leagues and some of the major league invitees and stuff. But the reporting day is not what it used to be. That's for sure.
No, but it's starting to feel like it's happening. I take it.
Oh yeah. It's it's good. And there's the thing about it, Joe, is they now back in Calvin's day, they might invite 7, 8 guys to spring training to be part of the spring training camp, and because they cost money, they had to give them meal money and stuff. Right. So, but they got 20 of them this year, and there's a lot of good stories there, including Randolph, Minnesota's own Caleb Thielbar.
Is he back?
He's back.
Good.
He gave up his job as Augustana's pitching coach to come down here and take another shot at it. And supposedly he's thrown 95 or something. So I can't wait to see him tomorrow or the next day to see what the heck's going on.
So you're saying the Meesville Mudhens are losing out on a left-hander for this summer?
That's true. They probably had their eye on him. Huh? They pry him away from Cannon Falls or Randolph, and didn't have him on there. But
well, good for him.
He's left-handed, and the only one they got is Taylor Rogers. So let's see if he can make. I don't think he's been in the big leagues for about 3 years, so I'll have to check.
What influence did Roger Kahn's Boys of Summer have on you?
I think that it gave some of the importance of storytelling. Mm-hmm. It showed that. If you heard a great yarn that some ball players were telling, you explored it and wrote it rather than just laughed and then said who won the game and who did what and stuff. I think it changed. I think Boughton's book, Ball 4, changed sports writing, and I think Roger Kahn's Boys of Summer did too.
I do too.
I think it made us look for the great story more than we had previously. Like, I'll give you an example. Years ago, whenever it was, 85 maybe, Ron Davis was still with the team.
Throw in the Davis.
Time to throw in the Davis.
Throw in the Davis. Yeah. And I'm in that cramped old clubhouse at Tinker Field, and I hear Davis over in the corner telling this story, and everybody's howling with laughter, and I hear something about, and then Tony's aunt tried to hit me with an umbrella, So there might have been a time when you said, So I went over there and I said, okay, what the hell is this? And I ended up getting like the 3-4 guys on the trip with it, but they were out in South Dakota on the Twins caravan, and Tony made them detour like 100 miles to go see Gordette's aunt, who was the hardcore Twins fan of all time. And when they stopped there, she was very happy to see them, and she was in her 80s and kind of had a cane and everything. And when she got introduced to Davis, she tried to hit him with the cane. So, I don't know. I think Roger Kahn taught us to appreciate that stuff and write it.
Don't let Ted go.
No, that's too good. That's better than Bill Swanson might make the team.
Right.
So that I think he gave us a lot of that. Did Roger pass away?
92.
Okay, well,
at 92.
Pretty good run. That's he was. That was pretty enlightening, to say the least. Great reporting. I mean, God Almighty, he told you everything you wanted to know about the key members of that team and the different personalities. I always remember the descriptions of Carl Ferrella as this dour, guy, and just basically he gave you what kind of personalities those guys had.
Who was the third baseman that he would have covered?
Billy Cox, maybe?
I think so.
Was the racist? He was the guy who had a very hard time with Jackie breaking in, and then they were okay after that. I think it was Billy Cox. Yeah, he was great.
The New York Herald Tribune must have been a hell of a paper.
Oh God, it was a writer's paper.
They had some great people there.
Yeah, they had the writers, and that was, of course, Red's where he made his mark in in New York before it folded. The Red was, but they were, that's the old. Was that Frank Graham's paper too? I don't know.
So.
Yeah, Frank Graham.
Breslin was there for a while, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wasn't Frank Graham wrote about Bob Meisel? Mm-hmm. He's learning how to say hello when it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
That was
or
a line.
On the occasion of Babe Ruth's funeral, boy, the beer would taste good. Sure wish I had a beer right now. And somebody said, so does the Babe.
So does the Babe, right? So does the Babe. So, anyhow, I got, did you get involved in the Trump hairline controversy?
Oh, my God, Pat.
It was pretty hilarious.
It was pretty funny that the President of the United States would pause to say that it's a conspiracy that they're showing off his spray tan line, right?
Yeah.
So this morning, at 6 a.m., I'm shaving. I'm up shaving.
Sure.
And yesterday I was in the car in the convertible all day, and I didn't really, I hadn't showered up yet this morning. So I had convertible hair, and followed by sleep hair, and I looked in the mirror, and this damnedest thing I ever saw. This hair was just all over the place.
Right, very
straight
Trumpian.
up, off the side, and I couldn't help but think of Trump, so... In order to take a shot at Trump, I had to humiliate myself, and I sent out a selfie of that hairdo.
A shirtless selfie.
But just shoulders.
You can't
just
see nothing below there.
I didn't show off
nipples.
the man boobs. I
Right.
didn't, just the tastefully shoulders.
As Bud Grant would have said, we already did that.
Yeah, right. And, there's few things I regret in my life as far as offering myself up on the media, but that was one of them. That remains.
Well, the best was later that week we had to tape an interview with Buster Olney.
Yeah.
He answers the phone by saying, "Did I just see a picture of Pat with his shirt off on Twitter?"
Was that where he's posed with you, Rook?
No,
Yes.
that was in
Well, there was
studio.
two of them.
There's two of them.
There was
yeah.
the one where he was sitting out in the stands
That's right.
in at the
Florida.
stadium,
Yeah.
Hammond
Hammond.
Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I look like Sophia Loren, but a little less firm. That's,
Well, the best though is when we saw the photo, Pat, we got Rookie doing you, explaining on what was going on in the background off the air.
That was a
pretty
rough
good.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the grunders on the door.
And that one, some people on Twitter just won't let that one go either.
No, that comes up every once
every
in a while.
anniversary,
Yeah,
every
that's right.
4 months or whatever it is, every quarter. It's the quarter anniversary.
Yes, that's
Oh,
true.
Lord.
That's true. So I got a name for you. Get
right.
ready
Yep.
for the 2020 Olympics if they're not canceled because of the flu or the virus or whatever the hell we call it. But Mondo Duplantis. One of my favorite of Duplantis. He's a kid from Louisiana, and he's the pole vaulting phenom of all time.
Really?
He's a guy, so he can't be in the women's pole vaulting
not that league,
league.
no.
He can't be in the WPVL, but he
Right.
might be a coach. Teach him how to do it. But he's a kid from Louisiana, but he's going to participate because his mother's from Sweden. She's so he's going to be on the Swedish national team instead of the U.S. because in Sweden he just set a world record like last weekend. Again, he's 20, 21 years old. New York Times did a big piece on him when he was 17 that I hadn't seen. But he's going to compete for Sweden because the Swede in the U.S. they have the track and field Olympic tryouts, and you got to finish in the top 3 to go to the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whoever finishes in the top 3, that's your Olympic team. So if you have a bad day in the pole vault, and you could be the best pole vaulter in the world, you don't make the team, right?
Right.
But Sweden, they just select you, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to be pole vaulting for Sweden, but the TV networks are going to be all over this kid. He's quite a character, I guess, and he's got the name for it. Mondo Duplantis.
Mondo Duplantis.
And let's give a little bit of history to Monday Night Sports Talk podcast listeners. The female that started it all for the women's pole vault team
Tatiana.
or league. I saw Allison Stoke, Stokke.
Well, yeah, she was a young draft choice, but it was Tatiana Grigorieva of Australia.
Draft choice.
Tatiana.
Allison is now, by the way, the girlfriend of Ricky Fowler, right?
Oh, is she really?
I think so.
Wow.
Check it out. But I think that is. I like to keep up on pole vaulters in case we ever get this league started.
You're the commissioner.
Yeah.
You're right, Pat. Tatiana.
I'm the scout.
Grigorieva.
You're the commissioner. I'm the scout.
Yes.
Yeah, you actually attend the events.
Yes, right.
What's her name, Rook?
Tatiana Grigorieva.
Yes. Oh, my, was she gorgeous.
What country was she at?
But what started it was Australia had a magazine for their Olympians, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like $20 and this wonderful paper. And I mean, it was just, it was really quite a magazine. But all of them were naked.
Oh,
wow.
So I had that one for years. I don't know what happened to it. And guys and gals, there were some good-looking guys, too. They give you urges, too. But Tatiana looked very fetching in that magazine.
I bet she did.
That's what gave me the idea for the women's pole vaulting a league.
Yeah.
So.
Now, do you do a mock draft leading up to the event, too?
I tell you, the one I really liked was the kid from Iceland who won who was like the bronze medalist and the first ever summer Olympic medalist from Iceland. And she had these chubby cheeks, and you're sitting there talking to her in the face, chubby cheeks. And the urge to reach over and grab a hold of one of those cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just unbelievable. It was like a 3-year-old. It's like a 2-year-old kid, You just wanted to give her a pinch of the cheeks, but I resisted that urge, too.
Tatiana was born in Leningrad, the Soviet Union.
Oh,
Russian.
But she moved to Australia, and she pole vaulted for Australia. I believe she
pole vault for whatever she wants.
Wonder who ever ended up with Tatiana. I wonder if she ever ended up with a husband or.
I've got the biography, and we only go to about 2008, and there's no personal paragraph.
Mm. Hey, it took my Hollywood friends a long time to take a shot at Trump last night, didn't it?
About 10 seconds.
Brad Pitt, 8 seconds. Yeah. He wins his first Academy Award, and he sneaks that one in. I thought that was. Come on, Brad, get up there and tell us how happy you are to finally be recognized for your mediocre acting instead of, taking that cheap shot.
Well, it's not only mediocre. He's just the same character in anything he does.
Yes, and it that was basically the Lifetime Achievement Award. They decided to vote for him. Mm-hmm. So I got to say, out of the 9 nominees, I've only seen about 3 of them.
I saw Ford and Ferrari, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and 1917. I never heard of Parasite.
I knew it was out there, but I thought it was about a virus. I didn't know it was a family drama comedy from South Korea, right?
Yep.
You didn't see whatchamacallit, Irishman yet?
Yeah,
I have not.
I thought it was really overrated.
I thought it was just good. I didn't think it was great or over the top.
And the voters didn't think much of it either, right? Did it win anything?
No.
It did not.
Length of a game?
Yeah, it won there. It won by a mile.
Was that the one where Gervais said DiCaprio's date was too old for him by the end of that movie?
So how did it work without having a host? It looked like a cluster.
I didn't watch it.
It flowed. The opening number was weird, but Chris Rock and Steve Martin came out for a couple, and they kind of mini co-hosted. They weren't out there for a great length of time, but they were funny, and they should have one of those two do it or do it together because they're funny, hilarious, and they kept the show going.
They can get away with a lot.
Who was the chesty African American chick who did the opening routine there? Who is that?
I'm going to have to look that up. I asked, and nobody.
The poor girl, right in the middle of it, popped the button on her blouse and had to stop and button herself up.
Not a wardrobe malfunction.
And she came out as "I'm queer," or I mean, that didn't matter. Just sing. We're not worried about you.
Oh, really? She told us that.
Yeah.
What's this Billy Porter guy? He wore a dress. Who's that guy? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, he's the big bearded guy. He always wears dresses. He always wears dresses.
He was a flashy guy. That was a big, a distinctive dress too. Not a subtle like slinky thing. It was a big dress.
Joe says, "What's that deal?"
I saw that picture of the guy. I wondered, what's the deal here?
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. And you know how bad it's gotten. With Hollywood, the new stars, Mrs. Ricey doesn't even know who these people are anymore, and she's up to date on ETV and stuff like that. And I said, "Who's that gentleman there with the big dress?" And she didn't know who he was.
He's on Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, I believe.
Well, that show ended 15 years ago.
Is she not up to date because her husband has deprived her of the appropriate television? Down in the fort?
She has got all the TV a person could possibly want. No, she's all caught up on the Housewives.
How'd that new toilet seat work out?
God, it's good.
It's
worth every penny. Yeah. Worth every penny in the investment.
To put on a toilet seat. But he liked it because he got to save up all the words he would have used.
Yes. Right. I'd still be there swearing at it.
Now you can use those words in traffic.
Yes.
Isn't it 2 bolts?
Yep, and you don't even need a screwdriver. You just need to hang on to it. Janelle Monáe is your opening act for the Oscars. She's 34. She's a singer.
And had we not known about her sexual preference, or did she tell us? Was that like she revealed it last night?
I don't know.
We already. Not that I really care.
Right, it doesn't matter. Let's see if she.
Who's ever her mate is lucky, I'd say. Who's ever, what's a guy, girl, whoever it is.
No, I know what you mean.
Well, here, congratulations.
Let me
Plus, she's already. Just thinking about you, she's popping buttons, so that's good.
Right. Let me let you in on her personal life. During a 2011 interview with London Evening Standard, Monáe said that she only dates androids, a reference to her musical alter ego found in many of her songs.
Huh?
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I speak about androids because...
Isn't it a phone? It's a cell phone. Isn't it an android?
Yeah, it is. It is. That's a type. Or maybe she's addicted to phones. But she said... I think the android represents the new other. You can compare it to being a lesbian or being a gay man or being a black woman. What I want is for people to feel oppressed or feel like the other to connect with the music and feel like she represents who I am. She wants to be with both men and women and still attracted to men and women. And she states that she's a pansexual.
I don't know what that means either.
A lot going on there.
That's more than 2.
I'm going to give the DA a pass on not being up.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's across America.
Yeah.
So she's not picky.
Pan means men, women, or
androids.
Anything else?
Phone,
anything else
phones.
you happen to... Anything else you happen to run across. But anyway.
So
well, I don't know. I didn't... Having seen so few of the movies, and I just...
and
not having a host.
That's rare for you.
Not having a host, I didn't watch it. Yeah, I usually see at least 6 or 7 of them, but I had no rooting interest.
All right.
I thought Sam Mendes should win just because of the effort he put into...
it was really nifty
It
technologically.
was 1917. Yeah, I just saw it the other day. It's great.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
All right, I got something.
I'm glad I'm not in World War I.
That was a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Porter, and I looked him up as well. He's an actor, performer, singer. Let's see, what would we know him from? Kinky Boots.
Okay.
Did you guys miss that one?
Yeah.
See that? What's that deal?
I think there was some dancing by transvestites in that one, I believe.
Yeah, and
that's okay.
Life,
we can still use that, right?
Personal life, he is openly gay and married to his partner Adam Smith. So,
and if he wasn't, he's this kind of took care of that. If we were wondering about that fella, so good for him.
Just to make it even less confusing for you guys,
Uh-oh.
the man I referenced was Jonathan Van Ness, who is the Queer Eye star, and he was appearing on Good Morning America in a dress. He's got a full beard, long hair like a hippie, and he appears in a full dress when he comes out.
That's fantastic.
All right.
So
here's
Joe,
the one thing. I clicked over when Elton and Bernie won their Academy Award. Another, by the way, Lifetime Achievement thing. It was nothing special as a song. Elton's really chubbing up, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Elton, get in shape.
His
I know you've
metabolism.
always been short and fat, but come on, let's do something.
Did you
You're
watch his
you're
movie?
getting too big. It was terrible.
I watched it this weekend. I thought it was all right. I
It
wasn't
was
anything
terrible.
great. He had a rough life, though. The old man wasn't the nicest guy.
Well, he wanted him
things
to be
happen.
tall and handsome instead of short and fat with fat fingers. I'm amazed what a great piano player he is, though, with those short little fingers.
He's got drummer's hands, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Little
Anyway.
teeny.
I'll tell you, though, Joe, you and I, how many concerts of his did you go to? Just the one at Target
I
Center?
think just one.
He did 3 hours, though.
Yep.
Man, he gives you an effort when he's in concert.
Is he on one of his final retirement tours?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
The Stones are coming back, right?
Yep.
What are those poor old fellas going? Where are they going to be at the X?
No, the U.S.
I mean,
Bank,
at the U.S.
May 16th,
Bank. Yeah.
the Saturday night. I'm probably going to have to do it just because this has got to be it. This has got to be it. It's got to be it.
They're getting them one more time.
Yep.
They've been around so long. I think Sid's seen 3 of their concerts. Yeah. Sid keeps thinking they got to be done by right now.
What I think we should do is the Stones night. We should pre and post party at Jack's Cafe. You know that?
Yes, I got a $300 gift certificate.
He's
My
got the-
wife does, but she'll buy you drinks.
That'll be fantastic.
Pat's got the first 3.
Yeah.
You got the balance and the tip. How's that?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, here we go. Jack's Cafe. See how I did that, guys?
It always works out.
Jack's Cafe.
For you.
It does. And it will work out for you, too, if you go to Jack's Cafe, Northeast Minneapolis, 1928 University Avenue Northeast, right at 20th. I'm going to give you their phone number so you can make a reservation when you would like to book a Sunday brunch reservation. How about the Mardi Gras brunch on February 23rd. They're taking reservations right now. They've got room for weddings, grooms' dinners, private rooms from 25 to 250 people. And what is their history? Well, 3 generations. Billy's running it right now. He grew up with the restaurant. He knows exactly how to make a wonderful value for you. You work hard for your money. I'd like you to go out and have a great night at Jack's Cafe, JAXCAFE.com. Or to make that reservation or book that groom's dinner or wedding, 612-789-7297. We've all been there, and we will all continue to go there because it's a great spot with wonderful ambiance. Jackson Northeast, JAXCafe.com, 612-789-7297.
All right, I have one thing I want to throw out there.
Brah.
If we're still doing the show next winter, we're taking it on the
next
road.
week.
We're taking it on the road
Yep.
because the 4 of us have got to witness a San Diego Gulls hockey game in person.
What
go
do
to
they
one?
fight each other? or what?
They're the minor league affiliate
Yes.
of the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah.
And it's just purely to go to be part of the crowd. It's the most uneducated hockey fan base ever, but it's spectacular. Every time a Gulls player has the puck, no matter where he is on the ice, he could be behind his own net, and they scream, "Shoot!" It's awesome. I took the boy, and they're drinking in the parking lot just like it's a Saints baseball game back at Midway.
Right.
It's so much fun. And
What
you get in-
arena? What arena?
It's called the Petcha. It's a local bank, I believe, but it's
Okay.
an arena that maybe seats 7,500 people.
All right.
But it's fantastic.
Pat Reavers played Torrey Pines.
Oh, and you had golf balls in a plastic bag,
Yeah.
right?
I
God
devised a
almighty.
plan.
Tennis shoes and white socks, the whole deal.
Pat, I was on the driving range, and I was getting the up down from a local guy that probably golfed there with frequency, and he looked at me and
Yeah.
said, "You don't play here often, do you?"
The Gulls play
that-
at Penchanga Arena. It seats about just about 13,000
Oh, it's
Really?
13,000.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was smaller than
You
that.
didn't go. You could have went and saw Brian Dutcher's unbeaten San Diego State basketball team.
Oh,
but you
shoot, I
decided
didn't even
to go
think
to
of that.
You decided to go to a Gulls. Actually, I don't think they were at home this. Oh, wait, they had Maybe, 2 weeks ago they retired Kawhi's number there, and everybody went nuts.
I know this is sports talk. I know this is sports talk, and we're supposed to like and talk sports. If I go to San Diego where it's 76 and sunny, there is no way in hell I'm going indoor for any game.
But it's at night. You're going at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, the stars are out. You're going to the drink. You're hanging out. You're kicking back. I'm not going inside to watch a hockey.
Poor San Diego has one major sports team now. The baseball.
Yeah.
They lost their football team. They hockey and basketball have never made it there. It's amazing.
Well, they were doing man on the street interviews the day after the Chiefs won because the Chiefs and Chargers were big rivals, and a lot of the people are saying, "Well, I guess I don't even care anymore that the Chiefs won because we don't have football."
Well, I think they're the 6th largest city in the country, something like that. 6th or 7th largest city.
I learned that San Diego County is the 2nd largest in the country.
Next to Los Angeles County.
I believe so, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sprawls damn near to Los Angeles.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And it also way out west, too. Yeah. Hell of a town, though.
East. Way out west, you'd be west.
East, yeah, that's right.
You'd be a little
well,
wet.
one reason they say that they have a tough time is, like drawing people to stuff because they got the ocean, in one direction, they got Mexico in the other direction, and the desert in the other direction, and the Los Angeles in the other direction. So they don't have that natural area to draw from beyond their own city limits.
Plus, I don't know how many residents are actually from the area. Most of them are transplants.
What famous baseball player was from San Diego?
Tony Gwynn.
Well, older than that.
Ted Williams.
Ted Williams.
Yeah.
Ted Williams. Yeah. Best buddy growing up, Ray Engel, Dave Engel's daddy.
Yep.
So, yeah, Ted is, it's hard to just imagine what San Diego was like when Ted's first year in the big leagues was 39, I think, or maybe 40.
Navy town, wasn't it?
Yeah. So.
I did not know this. Ron Fowler owns the Padres? University of St. Thomas grad.
I didn't know. I don't know.
He's a Twin Cities guy, yeah. He's, and they're weird because one year they're trying to win, the next year they're not spending money. Now this year they're spending money again.
They got a great ballpark and a great location.
Yep, that's a great ballpark. I didn't realize you can see the field without having to enter the ballpark. There's that park where the Tony Gwynn statue is.
Yep.
You can access that without having to pay admission, which is really neat. All right.
They had one of the great owners ever though, Ray Kroc.
Yep.
When the McDonald's guy, was he the original? I'm not sure if he's the original, but he got on the PA one night and apologized to the crowd. Yeah. He grabbed the PA and might have had a couple of cocktails in him and apologized to the crowd for the rotten team that he was putting on the field. It was great. Speaking of rotten movies, God almighty, was that a terrible movie, the Ray Kroc movie. Michael Keaton played.
I loved it.
Oh, it was terrible.
I didn't see it.
Who played him?
Michael Keaton,
yeah. Right? Oh, it was brutal. Absolutely brutal. Even though he married the piano player from St. Paul, right?
That's right.
Joni Kroc and she went to school with my in-laws' best friend, and they went out to see her one time. She comes out in these completely yellow, it's a yellow suit, looked like a banana suit, and she was the nicest gal, and it was just like old times, and she was cool. I mean,
I hope she picked up the check.
Oh, they went to her house.
Out to dinner, I would think.
They went to McDonald's. She's like, I got connections here. Mm-hmm. No, but she was a really nice lady, from what I'm told. I never met her, but my in-laws had.
Wasn't Don Riley used to write about her about every 2 weeks? Put in there a note. Jeannie Ruth, I think, was her name. Jeannie Ruth.
Where'd she play the piano in the Twin Cities?
Up
and down University Avenue, maybe.
Some bar.
That's where they met.
Yeah,
and then they started a relationship.
Yeah. Well, according to the one thing I remember about the movie is that he was a bit of a hound. Was not completely faithful to the first bride.
Well, that'll happen.
She was born in West St. Paul. Let's see. Where did they meet? Doesn't say.
Probably Criterion or something like
Joan met founder Ray Kroc while playing at the Criterion.
I said Criterion. I'll be damned.
In 1957.
Wow.
Kroc said he was stunned by the blonde beauty. They were both married. They met again at McDonald's conference in '69. Within 6 months, they had divorced their spouses and married each other. Following his death in 84, she inherited his fortune.
She alive?
How far, Joe?
We lost Joni in 2003 at age 75.
Huh.
Joe, how far were the Criterion and the Blue Horse apart from each other?
Not far. Not at all.
How did the two great restaurants, well, three, they're Lexington too, but how did the two great restaurants in St. Paul get right next to each other in University? Must have had something to do with the state capital.
Yeah, they had a lot of legislative business.
They were looking for those fellas to... My favorite Blue Horse, I think it was the Blue Horse, not the Criterion. My favorite story, though, is they used to run ads in the St. Paul paper. And they would pay for it by, like, the ad guys from the St. Paul paper would entertain clients at the Criterion or the Blue Horse. I think it was the Blue Horse. And then they'd just take it off the bill.
Yeah.
So the advertising bill. So they'd run ads, and then they'd run ads, and then they'd get, at the end of the year, they'd settle up whether the paper owed them money or they owed the paper money. And Roger Rosenblum, the great Roger Rosenblum, when he was the Viking writer, a man with a hearty appetite for both martinis and food, and he borrowed he got his hands on the Blue Horse, the account bill that they used to have that they'd give the advertising guys.
Yep.
And to take some football guy that was covering the Vikings to take him up to the Blue Horse, and when they got her back 6 weeks later, they owed the Blue Horse about thousands. Roger was up there every night eating big steaks, and what a beauty he was, man.
That's back in the days when papers were papers.
Oh, yeah.
They were flush.
You want to hear something really sad, though, about Joni Kroc?
No.
It's about the worst thing that could ever happen. Upon her death in 2003, a bequest of $225 million was made to National Public Radio.
Oh, no.
Really?
Isn't that terrible?
That's
what
terrible.
a waste of money.
That's
$225.
Joni, I'm sorry.
Wow.
She should still be getting credit when they run a show, don't they?
Yeah.
It should be the Kroc Hour, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They should.
Well, you go enjoy the fort today.
Looks like it's going to be a nice late afternoon here. I did some beach time yesterday. That was fun.
Boy.
Thank you for not taking any selfies.
No, it was. The hard news is when you get down on one of those chairs,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you kind of drive yourself down into the sand.
Yep.
So you're not real high, and then you got to get up out of that damn
be
thing.
A problem.
Had to call the fire department to get me out of the damn chair.
You need to learn how to. This is what I do. You beach roll. You just roll out of the chair. You're already on all fours. Then it's easier to get up.
Yeah.
You got to learn the beach roll.
That chair, I need a higher chair. Is what I need.
Well, you could buy your own and bring it with you to the beach.
That is, but it's not a high one. I need a high one.
All right.
But then you have to learn how to open it. Hey, buddy, how do you open this thing?
I had the wife for that. She got it out of the packaging. So, all right.
Brand new.
See you next Monday.
All right, see you later. Patrick, James, Stephen Ricey, Joe Souchere, Reavers, and Rookie. We're out. Monday Night Sports Talk invites you to download the MinPod, the PODMN app that's on your phone. Or better yet, if you want to catch all Minnesota podcasts, go to podmn.com, and we'll see you next time. Monday Night Sports Talk podcast version.